The Own Your Intuitive podcast is for the creatives, spiritual entrepreneurs, and light workers in the world. The shining ones who have been told to dim their light and stop believing in magic. I say screw that. The time to rise is now. To bring your gifts out into the world in a big way, creating a business that feeds your soul and your bank account. You are a magical being with the potential to change the world, one human at a time. The time for you to own your intuitive is now. I am so excited, everyone, for the juicy first chapter of The Blind Leap and kind of giving you guys a really good framework of what sets the tone of making a decision to become self-employed, become your own CEO, become your first employee, become the person who creates something magical, places it out into the world, and then serves a community, a tribe, a collective with the magic that is your essence. So where do we begin? I mean, that really is the question. And in The Blind Leap, I go into a lot of detail, but the very first place, and the chapter is, oh my goodness, what is the chapter? I was just reading it to make sure that I had everything. Oh, the return to self. The return to self is the first thing that we do in order to create a conversation with what matters and what our true collective needs and our connection to God and source and universe. These are the basis for how you build. It's the foundation of your business. So last week we talked about, looking at your body as your business, right? Like looking at the external as like if people were driving by and they were thinking about walking into your internal office space. And we talked a little bit about the inside and how well kept the inside of the office is. It's like people, when they choose to work with you, they're really walking into your energy. And so today I want to bring all the information about what the Return to Self chapter is all about and how you can implement it today to make an impact in how people show up fully for your business and how you show up fully for your business. So one of the greatest examples that I love to give is that if you were to think of your internal body as your office space and you never did any self-care, if you never took any, morning routines, meditations, did any form of cleansing or clearing your energy, what it would feel like walking in to do work with you and what it would feel like internally, it'd be like somebody walking into a house where there was just a keg party in university and there's like chaos and disorder and kegs and empty beer spilt everywhere and gosh, the smell, guys. And I'm not saying your internal energy space smells like that, but like it's a big deal. Right? There is a level of chaos that exists within us energetically, emotionally, addictively to the emotional patterns and experiences that we have been living our entire life that create a bit of mayhem in our body. And so like when we're thinking about building our business and we're thinking about our human body as our office, there is a level in which we get clear that we are hiring in somebody or something to clean the office every single day. So oftentimes people come to me and they've never meditated before. And I'm like, well, this is kind of a big deal into getting clear on where the actual answers are that you're looking for. Because we are taught from kids to seek external validation, right? We are taught that when we do good things, we get gold stars, we get, allowances, we get money, we get accolade, we get, all of this attention for when we are good. And so we start to strive for this external reaction that says, you did a great job, well done, right? And we no longer connect into how we actually vibrate or how we actually feel about what we just did, right? And so one of the biggest things that I find when we're reconnecting to our inner beings and inner bodies is the willingness to no longer seek the answer from outside of us. And you can eventually go and do that, but there's a level of a detachment from what the external world is doing or saying and seeing it from a level of, I'm here to receive this information. I'm not going to take it personally. I'm not going to think the person is being mean, hard, aggressive. If they don't answer, I'm not taking it like I failed, whatever, right? There's a level of when you do your internal work that anything on the external really does just hold information. It is not a personal reflection of who I am. And so when I think about meditation, and when I think about desiring something or wanting something in your business, maybe it's, financial gain, maybe it is a collaboration, maybe it's a book deal, maybe it is something of highest value, your vision and version and what it is that you're aspiring to in your business, right? And we have this dream, we have this idea. And when we are not in a place of meditation, when we are not in a place of clearing out our internal clutter, what often can happen is it's like standing at the top of Niagara Falls and holding a rock and saying, this is my dream. This is what I desire. This is what I want for my business. This is what I want for my family. This is what I want for my life. And throwing the rock over Niagara Falls. Would you see that rock hit the water? Would you see the ripples? Would you know that that message was heard, felt, and received? Most likely not. Like at some point, that rock, you're going to lose sight of it. So the reason why meditation and our desires and our dreams are so epically important is because that's the way that the universe works in bringing to us our dream and desire. If we're not asking with clarity and with a clear intention for what it is that we desire, then we don't have an opportunity to receive it. God's not bringing us anything if we're not asking. And so there's a level of clarity that comes when you return into yourself, that it's almost as if doing the meditation and doing the work and cleaning out the office space allows you to walk to the shore of a clear pond. Maybe it's Lake Ontario, maybe it's a really soft day in the ocean where there's just these little tiny little waves slapping up against your feet in the shore. And you have that same rock, that same pebble, and you have that desire and that dream. And you want to put it out into the universe. You want to call to whoever is your source of your faith and say, this is what we're doing, and this is why we're doing it. And you toss that pebble into this still water. Will you see the ripple? You absolutely will. And this is why it's so important when we're trying to send our messages and our vibrational frequency up into the world and say like, hey, I'm ready. I am so excited to bring this out into the world and be the human to be part of this creation of it. That with the chaos that is in your thoughts and the chaos that is in your body, that you're taking the time to go from Niagara Falls to a still pond so that when you're speaking your truth, the messages are being received. One of the most powerful examples that I give of the return to self and this concept in the book is the idea that, most of the time when we want to do something, we ask other people what they would do. You know what I mean? Like, what would you wear? What would you, put on your brochure? What would you, and it's very much like they are going to have the answer for what it is that we are doing for our business, our clients, our mission, our purpose. And so if, say, you're thinking about, doing a newsletter, and you contact 3 people and one person says you need to have video in your newsletter. Like that's the only way. So you have to have video and you need to have text and it needs to have captions on the video, because most people, either they're going to watch the video and they're never going to listen to it with sound. Like it's got to look this particular way. A second person is like, oh, you need to have a whole bunch of ways in which they can work with you. So there should be a lot of tags on these things. And it should be like, there should be like at least 3 different places that they can press during that newsletter that they can have a direct connection to you, to book a call, to receive some information, or, really increase the engagement. And the third person says, I don't know, just put anything you want in there without any information, any idea of what it is that, you can do. And so you have these 3 conversations, you feel exceedingly overwhelmed because you don't like doing video and you don't know how to add captions to them anyway. And then you're sitting there and you're like, what do you mean I have to attach things? I've never done an email list before, and I've never maybe sent out a newsletter. And now you're telling me I need to attach, and you are no help, sir. And I don't even know what you are trying to tell me. And at the end of asking 3 people, you're exhausted. You don't know what to do. You feel overwhelmed. So you don't put out a newsletter. Has anyone been there before? My hand is up. That's all I'm saying. So the idea here is that when we're doing a return to self, we fully understand that if we were to get quiet and go into meditation, as you know, Michael Singer said in The Untethered Soul, our thoughts never go anywhere. They're like a roommate that you live with that doesn't shut up. They like narrate your entire life. Like, so like, oh my God, you're home from work. What did you do today? Did you notice that it's sunny outside? And like, what are we going to eat for dinner? I don't know. What do you feel like? And it's like a constant nattering, right? And so to get free of this noisy roommate and everything else everybody's been telling you about how you should be doing your business, you instead get quiet. You instead place earbuds in and listen to a guided meditation or some soft music, or maybe you sit in silence because that's your jam. And you allow yourself to sink below the thought or above the thought, or you just allow the thoughts to happen without attaching to them and making them more important than they are. And the longer you sit there, the more you feel yourself sinking into a space between sleep and awake. And it is in that beautiful space that's where you can reach the pond. And instead of asking somebody else, you just sit there and think, you know, how are my people? Where are they? What are they thinking? What are they feeling? What could I offer them in a newsletter that feels really resonant, that I can connect with them and help them in their journey where they feel really heard and seen and felt? And it's in that little pocket of space that you hear how you can actually serve and be the highest value to your people. And so you come out of this meditation with a clear understanding. I'm just going to put this newsletter out and share my journey and offer them a question so that we can start these relationships and building. And I just want to be here to answer and be supportive right now and build relationships that in turn turn into clients, because that's what feels really resonant. And so you put out the most beautiful newsletter sharing a part of your journey, how it serves them, with a beautiful question that engages them to reach out and connect and start dialogue. And you in them have built this new conversation that didn't exist in any of the other three versions of what you asked for, but it came from within you and it came in service to them, right? So the level of return to self states that every answer that you require for your business, for your life, for anything is not found through somebody else. The answer already resides within you. And when you can get to that space of understanding and knowing and detaching from asking the question, and when you do ask the question, you know that it's not the definitive answer, it's how it vibrates with you. And you take everybody's information unattached to it, and you can like put it through your internal system. I always say Tamara-ize, but use your own name, whether your name is like Mark Eyes or, you know, Elizabeth Eyes or Jeff Eyes, your whatever the information is, but you make it a part of your return to self. And when you place it out, that's where the magic happens. So this is a really powerful piece, because when people are thinking about leaving their jobs or making a blind leap, the answer is always within you on how to build this foundation moving forward. So I hope that you found this podcast helpful. I would love to answer any questions or engage in any conversation about that. You can always email me at tamara@tamaraarnold.ca. If you want to tag me on Instagram or Facebook with your takeaways, please, I would love to share in the excitement and the conversation. And you can find me on Instagram and Facebook at Tamara Arnold Author. And I look forward to forging brand new relationships with you guys and supporting and serving you in as many ways that I possibly can. So I love you. Have a magical day. And I will be back next week with the next chapter of The Blind Leap. If you've been listening to the Own Your Intuitive podcast and you know you are ready to step into your stardust and to shine your light out into this world, but you don't know what your stardust is and you don't know how to bust through your blocks, I would love to jump on a call to find out if the Chakra Business Academy is the perfect place for you to grow into your light worker self, to step into this world as a spiritual entrepreneur, making a difference and making an impact. If you're interested, you can go to tamaraarnold.ca/application and we'll be on a call in no time, and you'll be taking steps into stepping into your stardust and making an impact in the world with the exact purpose that you were put on this earth to do.